Meantime, new images tonight from inside an overcrowded Border Patrol facility in Texas, as we're learning that there are actually more than twice as many children currently in Border Patrol custody than there were at the height of the Trump administration's border crisis back in 2019. Let us now talk about the latest developments. Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall joining us, and the reporter who provided those photos, Washington Examiner Homeland Security reporter Anna Giartelli, is on the ground in McAllen, Texas. So great to have you both with us. Anna, let me begin with you. Gut-wrenching is one way to describe what we have seen. Shocking is another way to describe it. What comes to mind when you describe not just what you saw, but what you heard, what you felt?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in, even for a reporter who, I mean, I've been to the border 3 dozen times at this point. Seeing people released from custody, as I did today in McAllen downtown, Border Patrol is releasing 600 members of families per day now, and Catholic Charities is taking them in. Border Patrol is now finally testing people for the coronavirus before they are transferred to Catholic Charities. But the thing is, Kevin, there's no end in sight. More families keep coming, more children keep coming without parents. And then in other parts of the border, they're seeing massive upticks in the number of people who are trying to evade arrest who are getting caught. So those are people who are not asylum seekers. And at this point, the border crisis, Republicans are calling it constitutional crisis because they're worried this is really starting to affect the country.
Well, Leslie, listen, Anna makes a great point when you're talking about massive numbers like we're talking about and no actual policy to simply stop them. That's what some of the critics are arguing when you don't complete a border wall, when you don't simply make more of an adjustment. In other words, if you have a game plan and you're losing by 10 points, then by 20 points, and then by 40 points, maybe you ought to change things up. Do you see any change happening with respect to the Biden administration's approach here? And this is clearly a crisis. I know you've said as much.
What's amazing to me is there are not many changes from the Trump administration. Title 42, that has not been nixed. The border wall, the majority of it during the Trump administration was wall that was already there in existence, and it was either repaired or restructured, so that wasn't adding a mileage to that wall. Additionally, we have for 17 years had people coming to this country, and we continue to have people coming. In 2019, during the Trump administration, when there was a surge, we didn't have COVID. We didn't have the reduced number of beds and capacity because of the virus. And of course, we're seeing a problem certainly with children. But the reality is that 41% of families are being sent back. Nearly 100% of single adults are being sent back. President Biden has been in office less than 90 days, and the president, whether it's Trump, Biden, Obama, Clinton, none of them act alone. We have Congress that love to take pictures on the border like they're doing a National Geographic special, but what they need to do is work together to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Okay, but wait a second. Anna, before we get you back in, let me follow up with Leslie for just a second, and we've only got about 30 seconds each. Is there something that you're saying that this administration should be doing, something more concrete to stop the flow? And when I say stop the flow, what I mean by that is we just read this story where there was a child basically abandoned in a river. People are just trying to get here hook or crook. And if there's no policy specifically that will stop the onslaught of people coming, they will simply keep coming, no? So what are you saying that they should be doing, Leslie?
Well, first of all, the first thing you need to do is change our amnesty, our amnesty situation, because the reason people come to the border is you have to apply for amnesty at our border. If they could apply for amnesty in their home country, that would be a big thing. And I would say increase the amount of money that was decreased during the Trump administration that goes to some of these countries that can help stem the flow and slow down the flow of these people that are coming from there, and look at the cause in those nations and try and help address that.
Well, I'm not so sure. I mean, listen, and I agree with you. Maybe that could help, but I think that's been tried and tried and tried, and, you know, billions of dollars later, I'm not so sure how much progress is being made there, but certainly you're right. I think a lot of people feel like that couldn't hurt. Anna, 15 seconds, final thoughts.
You know, Sister Norma at Catholic Charities said to me today, listen, kids and families have been coming for years, and here's why. The root causes, all the push factors have not been addressed. And so cartels are going to keep messaging on that and be able to convince people to say, hey, maybe thousands, I'll get you to the U.S. And it works.
Anna Giratelli with helping us out tonight over in McAllen, Texas. Leslie Marshall, as always, thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.